Hey there, gents. Welcome back to the challenge. I've been trying this challenge for a week or two at this point. I'm trying to start a fire with a hand drill. So there's a bow drill, which is where you like have a stick and a rope and it'll rotate it like this. And then there's the classic, you see it on TV, starting a fire like this. And I'm a part of this group called The Strenuous Life, which is sort of like a Boy Scouts-ish program for adults. And I'm trying to challenge myself with things like that, you know, physical workouts, and film myself doing it for you. If you want to just follow along or be inspired to try new things, great, awesome. But this one's really been giving me a rough time of it. So hopefully I get it this time. If not, I'm gonna have a video within a video within a video. But last time I had two main mistakes. I ended up getting smoke and it got really, really hot, but I was rubbing it for so long that I ended up working this to a polish point, which means it's gonna be smoother and make less friction. So I make less fire when I have less friction. Another mistake I made was I put a hole in my board here, but I didn't cut a knock in it, which means that when this is sitting directly in there, I'm not getting any airflow in there. So air is very important to fire. You need oxygen for the fire process to begin. And then finally, I did it for so long that I ended up ripping a blister in my hand. So hopefully this time I can learn from my mistakes and make it happen. So I'm gonna glove up here. I'm going to go ahead and cut some small pieces of wood and tinder that'll be good for starting fires. And then we're gonna get to the bow drilling, or hand drilling. If you're new to starting fires, a lot of people hate this method. It's called batoning wood. I have a nice thick spine knife, so I'm not really worried about breaking it, and I've had it for a while. But a lot of people who really like their knives don't like to do this to them because you could fracture the tip or the back, but I really like doing it. I think it's very efficient. Some people would prefer using stones or cutting a spike into this, but that's not how I'm gonna do it today. But so what you're doing here is you're increasing the surface area, and as you increase the surface area, you increase the amount of oxygen getting to the wood, and it'll burn faster and easier. And I'm going to use this to make a fire stick, and then I'm going to use this to create shavings. So shavings, again, just have more surface area. I'm switching between my knives here. This isn't very sharp. It's good for bludgeoning. This is a lot finer of a point, so it's a lot better for cutting. All right, so the process for making long strips is pretty easy, but you need a fine knife to do so. And this is going to give me, this is kind of like fire sticking here, actually. I'm just gonna work, can you see what I'm doing, hopefully? Just gonna work my way down. And I want to get these sort of fine pieces that are ripping off here. And short of having something like pine needles or dried moss, this sort of stuff is going to be the best thing we can get to start a fire. So I'm just gonna put that on my board off to the side as I make it. And in the interest of you not having to watch all this, I'm just gonna kind of work this whole thing down so I get a lot of that thin stuff. But you can also make what's called a fire stick. And instead of trying to get it to break off, I want to create one side of this wood here that's going to kind of have ribbons on the end of it. And I want those ribbons to stay on. And as I do this, I'll basically use this. Once I get this tinder going here, I'll hold this over the fire, the small fire that I've got going. These bits will catch, and then it should work its way through the rest of the wood. So it's a good way to kind of light your smaller pieces on fire. So I'm gonna go ahead, cut the video, or at least zoom it ahead. I'll create my fire stick. I'll go ahead and create a bunch of you know, cuttings here so that I can light, and then we'll start the hand drill process. It's not the best feather stick, but it'll do for now. All right, so I'm gonna take my feather stick, I'm gonna go ahead and put it over in the fire. I'm gonna get all my shavings in a nice little pile here. So I'm gonna leave this off to the side for a minute, my little pile of if you can see it there, my pile of shavings. I will want to put it on the board later, but since it's going to be moving so much while I'm hand drilling, I'm going to put it off to the side. And so that my camera doesn't stop in the middle of the recording, I'm going to go ahead and start and restart. Start and stop the camera, and we'll get to the process of it. Okay, so from last time, I already had my stick. It's about the size of a pinky is generally a good rule. You want something that's, I don't know, 2 to 3 feet long, because as you kind of rub, you're gonna wanna go down the length of it over and over. And so you don't want something that's too short, unlike the bow drill, which you do want something short. And then I'm gonna wanna make it closer to the side here so that I can cut into it. And then I'm gonna have to kind of recut this end off and reshape it so that it's not at a high polish from the other day. So let's get it going. All right, that's pretty good. That's gonna give me a spot right there to try and make that notch, and then I have some ways for the air to get in there. I'm gonna move that out of the way. All right, so how I'm going to sharpen this, it's gonna be a lot like I did it last time. I just kind of need to remove a layer. You're almost going to a point, but instead of going to a point, you wanna round it. And please, especially here, don't take my advice as the word of God. Obviously, I still don't know what I'm doing here. So this is my understanding of it so far going into the challenge. Man, it is warm today. I'm actually just gonna hack that sucker off. Or you can see that's like almost to a point, but it's not. I've rounded it there, and it's not too rounded, it's not too sharp. I think I have a good tip to work from there, so. Kind of ragged, actually. I'm hoping that gives me some extra friction. Same thing here. I kind of want to know about how big my hole was, so I'm going to cut a center point, and then I'm going to kind of work my knife around like that so that I get a hole that's deepest in the bottom. Hi, Marcia. And shallower on the sides. All right, so you can see here how I've got some airflow there that goes right up to my hole, unlike that one, so hopefully it works a bit better this time. I've got my tip, which isn't to a high polish, but a little bit rounded. Hopefully we can get it going this time. All right, so this part I'm fairly confident I'm giving you good advice in, but again, don't take my word for certain. Again, I kind of want this longer length here because you want to kind of go down the length, and then you're going to go up to the top and go down the length. From my understanding of it, you want to be kind of steady at the start, kind of go slower. You're just building up some friction and some heat. Some people are going to do it in 10 minutes because they're not very good at it, like me, and some people are going to do it in like 10 seconds because they're really good at it. I think those are like very, very excellent people. And I'm actually doing it kind of poorly right now. I'm not actually like doing a whole lot of back and forth. I just want you to kind of understand what I'm going for. So you're gonna go down to the top. Once you get to the point where you start seeing smoke, you're supposed to go hard for about 30 seconds, and hopefully that should be the end of it. So now I'm doing a little bit better. I'm actually going for it. So hopefully I can build up some heat here, and we'll get back to it. This is very exhausting. I have gotten very good arm workouts from this in the past. It is much more difficult with the gloves on. I had so much better grip with my hands, but I can't afford to cut them up because my hands will quit on me in the moment I need them most. When the world needs your hands most, they vanished, or something like that, Avatar related. Oh man, I really don't like doing this with my hands, or with my gloves. I'm really thinking about taking these gloves off, but I really can't afford to do it. My hand's just healing. God, this is so frustrating. I'm gonna ruin my hands, guys. It's not even new healed skin. Oh, that's so much easier. Maybe I can polish up my stick on top here a little bit. Just get a few of the odds and ends off up here. I'm just lightly going over it. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit smoother. All right, so now my cut goes a little bit closer to the center. Hopefully I get some more airflow. And I'm not doing this because I expected fire yet, but I'm just adjusting as I see issues. Man, this is frustrating. This is exhausting. I feel like my arms are just like crazy pumped. This is such a good bicep workout. It's ridiculous. I honestly can't imagine doing this in nature. Wow, it's getting really hot. Okay, so the reason why is because this wood has to be insanely dry for this to work. I put these in the oven. Second thing, I'm so worried about hurting my hands, and in an actual survival situation, your hands are super important. If I wrecked my hands and gave them a blister in real life, this wouldn't be happening. You'd like lose the ability to make shelter or go and get food. It's warm. So I will say, while having smoothed this out does seem to be easier on my hands, it does seem like I'm getting less grip and I'm sliding down easier. So it may not have been beneficial to have done that. I don't know if I just got a different shape to it or what, but it's clearly getting, it's in the hole more now. And it's staying in and it's digging into the wood more as I'm turning it. I'm gonna try and rough this up just a little bit so that it's not at a fine polish. I'll cut some divots in the wood as well. Just kind of scratch at the end a little bit. Excellent. Go fast, go fast.
Too slick.
That should be hotter than that. All right, y'all, that's it for me today. I don't know if I need professional training on how to do this or what, but I mean, I actually burned it last time. Like, the wood was dark, and I've done, seems like, more things correctly today, and yet less results. So I'll give it one more go here, and if it doesn't happen, it's not happening today, I guess. All right, y'all. I don't think it's gonna happen today. It's not getting hot enough to like burn me too badly, so I guess I'm gonna try a bow drill next time, but you know, if I could, get over here. And I know it's super dark, I'm sorry about the lighting. The purpose of these challenges isn't necessarily to show, these aren't tutorials, right? The purpose of these challenges aren't to be tutorials, right? The point of a challenge is to say, here's something I'm not good at, here's something I'd like to be better at, and just to do them. I mean, the hardest thing is I've done 50-mile walks that I didn't have to train for, and I just went and did it, and it sucks, but yeah, you push through it. I've walked barefoot. I've shot archery every morning for like a month or two, and you slowly get better at things, and it's some of you might be too young to have experienced this yet. When you leave high school and college, you might get to a point where you realize, you know what, like for me it was college. College was harder than high school ever was. And that's studying, that's making friends, that's dealing with doing that and balancing having a job and then going out and trying to find a job. The point is, in junior high and in high school, and sometimes even in college, things are so carefully orchestrated for you that the only challenges you might face will be in sanctioned sports leagues. It's in, you know, classrooms. You have a hard test coming up, you have a project that you're given, and you put yourself out there because you have to. And the purpose of these challenges is to say, you know what, my life is comfortable, but there are things that I'd like to be better at, and it's so easy to not sign up for a class, or it's so easy just to go in and relax on the couch. And yeah, I'm playing games, I'm doing try not to laughs all the time with you guys, and it's important to relax and kick it every once in a while, but it's also important to get out of your comfort zone and try and stretch yourself. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. It even could be my type of wood. I know it's supposed to be softwood, but I don't know, maybe there's a better choice. So I'm gonna do some research and we'll come back around to this. I think I'll post it as a failed video because at this point I've tried twice, but I'll come back around to this eventually. I might take some like weekend survival classes or whatever, but I'll make it happen anyways. Thank you so much for watching, gents. What we do on the channel, it's basically a young men, whatever. That's it. It's for young men, whether it's dealing with girls, getting a job, doing workouts, just playing video games, laughing, having a good time, challenging ourselves. It's sort of like an all-in-one thing, and I'm really hoping to build a community here of people who are interested in just being better men, but also taking time to not take themselves so seriously. There's this quote that goes something like, the angels could fly because they took themselves lightly. So you have to take yourself seriously. Sometimes you have to take yourself lightly in others. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you very soon. Hopefully I eventually start a fire with friction, but until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks, gents.